Shalom. Shalom. Peace, salutations. To all the Akim out here pushing this truth, humbleness, and sincerity, risking their lives. First off, we give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakakadash. I want to get right into what's going on right now, real time. Okay, so I'm gonna try to, keep it simple, so even a child can understand. So what these devils are doing, right? They're playing right in our faces. Okay, so by now, like World War III, as we stated for years, has already begun. But right now, while everybody worrying about different files getting released, this is what's going on, right? This digital currency, or whatever they want to call it, crypto, etc. Crypto also means money of the dead. So if we go back to crypt and then toe, or though, if you will, back to the ancient language, it means dead money or money of the dead, right? So money of Satan, okay? There, it's already here. So-called the mark of the beast, etc., etc. It's already here. This is the system, and you will have to have that charagma, right, or that plant in your head and or your hand. But we're gonna get into that. But for those, like our job, I believe that's Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 17. Our job out here, right, as the Israelites, as the prophets, is to warn you and tell you what you do with the information is up to you, right? So this, what they're going to, yes, they're moving to the crypto, they're moving to this. Everyone's going to wake up one day, just like it was with COVID. What was that, 5 years ago? It was on a Friday. I remember because it was spring break for all the children. It was a Friday. They shut everything down that evening on the Friday. Snap of a finger. That was the test run. They was able to do it. Likely this fall, because what Trump signed into office is all the institutions have until like October of this year, like a few months away. Everyone's switching over digitally, right? So I'm gonna try to break it down. I have before, but I'm gonna try to simplify it a little more to what everyone has to go to. This is what they're ushering in. The dollar is not going to be anything, and this was prophesied in Revelation chapter 6, which we're going to get, and Revelation chapter 13, which we're going to get, really all over the scriptures, but I'm gonna just tackle two, right? That this is how the cost of everything, money, food, water, gas, is going to increase. All right. So I'm going to play a couple of videos. We're going to get into some scriptures, and we're going to get some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
It is a game. This was just a new post from the White House. As you can see, the whole entire White House is all digital. And the title is Strengthening American Leader in Digital Financial Technology. Trump just told you that they're getting off the old financial rails and switching on to the cryptocurrency rails. So if the US dollar is switching to cryptocurrency rails, what does that tell you? The US dollar is no longer the US dollar anymore if it's getting transferred through new crypto technology digital rails. It's no longer the world reserve currency if it's getting transferred through new crypto technology rails.
That's right.
And who was the first body member of the new standard? Ripple.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there, right? So with that being said, that's factual. That's what they've been doing behind the scenes. This is why they crashed the so-called crypto market, right? Several months ago. This is why they took out the CEO of PayPal. They took out the CEO of Cash App. They took out, I want to say, those airlines, those airplane crashes that were earlier this year and like 3 last year. And they were the top crypto shareholders, Bitcoin holders, and all that for different little, coins and stable coins. They unalived them intentionally, so now they can take it, and then they're moving straight over to it. This is what they do. This should be nothing new, right? This should be nothing new. Now, how they're going to do that? They're going to crash the dollar. This just how Rome fell, right? The old Rome, right? Just how they fell. It's going to be the same way. This new Rome, new Babylon, new Egypt. It's going to be the same exact way. You're going to wake up one day, right? You won't be able to access your bank account. You won't be able to log in. Some of y'all may have already gotten texts within the last week or two of Your bank's telling you their ATMs are closed. They're closing all the ATMs. They're going to say, well, you can bank online. You can take a picture of your check, or you can come into the bank. They're doing away with that. There's no need for it anymore because the dollar's going to be gone. So they're going to switch to that. But guess what's going to happen? During these wars, they're going to make it to where you're going to have to get that mark of the beast, right? You're going to have to get that thing. I'm going to say this so it don't get dinged. You got to get that thing, that thing planted in your head or in your hand, right? The elect won't get it, right? The 1/3 is we're not going to get it, right? But for most people, oh yeah, it's going to happen, okay? So with that, how they're going to do it, right? So let me get right into that. Matter of fact, let me go right to Revelations. We're going to go to chapter 13, right? This is how they're going to cause it. So we all read this, but I'm showing you how they're going to do this, right? Revelations 13 and 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. That's charagma, means an incision, right? Kind of like your civet jab, right? In their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he had that mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? Verse 18, right? Here is wisdom. So wisdom, being wise to the Most High. The word wise comes from the word wisdom. Here is wisdom. The only people on the earth, according to the Most High, who have wisdom are those who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Laws, statutes, yes, you got to keep the laws. So this is why the majority of so-called Christians, Catholics, whatever, they're going to take that. They're not going to have a choice. They're going to take it. All right. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? You know how most people say 666. So watch. Okay. Watch. Let me get back just a little bit to where I was. I want to show y'all some stuff, right? So we all know about your boy here, right? We all know about, your boy Trump and his and his partner. Now, and he's really Nero. That's what we're gonna call him, right? Neuralink, the Neuralink that's gonna go in your hand and in your head, right? Right. So stay with me. I'm trying to just go through it so I can get to some other stuff, right? So look, right? So a lot of people, they deal with what you call gematria, different things like that. I'm not here to break that down or explain it because my focus is in scriptures, right? But once you break that down and you go to the ordinal, right, it says, you can see it here. Donald Trump, the 47th president of the United States, it does equal it out to 666, right? Now, how do we know that all this is going to happen or take place? So if you know in the scriptures, Nero Caesar, right? Remember, the Lord Yahweh shall say we all were going to be regenerated, reincarnated, whatever you want to call it. That's your boy Trump right there. This is who we're talking about, right? And the number 666 is also associated with Nero Caesar, right? So in the ancient Hebrew, that's literally what his name means, right? So that's literally him. This is what you're looking at. He looked exactly like him. This is your guy right here. Now watch, I'm going to play something else because I want people to understand this, what's really going on and what these devils can actually do, okay? Let me rewind this. Pay attention. Remember we talked about crypto. You heard the first dude say Ripple. See, these devils, they have to show you and or tell you what they're going to do before they do it. Remember, they want to be held blameless too. They want to stand before the Most High. But look, hey, we told them what we were going to do. They didn't listen. They were too worried about a twerking and relationship podcast. They didn't listen, right? The Matrix was made in 1998. I believe it was released in 1999. Every television show, radio, movies, newspapers, they throw their symbols and they put it right up there in our faces. Okay? They put it right in our faces, right? This is how they're going to do it. Matter of fact, I mentioned layoffs, so let me actually get right to that. Watch this.
Texas, so this is for everyone that's in Texas. I want you to check this out. There's something called WARN Act. The WARN Act. I want you to go to Google, type in WARN.
This is
Act,
true.
right? Once you type it in, It's going to be a hyperlink. Click on the first hyperlink there. It's going to take you to a government page for Texas. And I want you to scroll down to where you see a few links where it says 2025, 2024, down to probably to 2020 or so.
Do this for every state.
2025.
Every state,
It's
y'all.
going to pull up a document, and that document is going to show you every organization in Texas that is about to lay off individuals and how many people is going to be laid off. I know a lot of people don't know about this. I know a lot of people haven't heard about this, but you need to check it out. And if your organization is on the list, it shows you what organization, what city, what county, how many people, and the date.
And the date, all of that, right? This is going to stretch all the way down into the fall. Into the fall. Now, here's why I paused it, right? Because down there, the DFW area is the number one business city in the world. There's more corporate headquarters in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, right, than any other city in the whole world, right? And of those doing layoffs, you got Lockheed Martin, you got British Airways, American Express, AT&T, IBM, Ford, Cisco, Facebook is on the other side of the DFW. All these companies they have to make it hard. They have to usher in a hardship, like the scriptures say, right? This is why the Most High says in the book of Isaiah chapter 32, I believe it's verse 9, he was talking directly to the daughters of Israel. He was like, hey, because here in America, the daughters of Israel, right, the so-called black women, if you will, right, Negro women, if you will, right, they've been lifted up on the pedestal, right, we're the number one in education, we're the number one in degrees, we're the number one in working in corporate America. That means you're the number one to be brainwashed. They're about to lose their job. You know, like that girl, you about to lose your job. Get this dance. That's what's about to happen. That's Isaiah chapter 32. The Most High says they're going to be lifted way up, and Satan going to pull that rug right from up under them. And this is going to be during the mark of the beast, during this war. This war is about to intensify these next few months, right? This is how they're going to do it. I'm going to play a little bit more because
it is going to be executed by. So I want you guys to check it out. Find your organization or organizations that your family are associated with, and I want you to plan, because in the next 6 months, there's a lot of organizations. Look, Walmart is laying off thousands of people. Tesla is laying off thousands of people. Retail organizations, we're seeing medical organizations.
Look, y'all go look that up. And how are they going to do that? Okay, so pay attention to this video, this clip right here. Okay. Remember that first video, he talked about crypto. He talked about the dollar is going to transfer, and it has to have something to transfer with or transfer into. What's going to be the new dollar, right? They showed us in the Matrix what it was. It was going to be their coin. And if you go into the ancient with the word Ripple and with the word XRP, that's the denarius, the Nero that they were using back then, back in Rome. But I'm going to play this. Y'all pay attention.
Plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
That's the symbol for Ripple. Right there. In the Matrix. Right? Here goes the Nero Caesar, the 666. Pay attention. Ripple, yes. Right there. Right there. Right? So when the guy in the first video was talking about the transfer, et cetera, this is what he was talking about. This is why they crashed the crypto markets, so all of these rich devils can buy it up. I did the breakdown on Revelation 6 before. I will go back into it a little bit now, matter of fact. Right? Where the scriptures talk about how much one plate of food is going to be. It's going to be the cost of 1 week's pay. So on average, one plate of food, one plate. Most people in America, they're fat. Most people eat 3 times a day. They eat breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert, ice cream, right? So, with that being said, one plate of food, just your breakfast, don't let you have 2 or 3 children. Just your plate of food is going to be around $800. Keep in mind, the US dollar is gone. So most people, I think it's like 92, 93% of all people, they don't have any so-called crypto money or debt. I hate even saying it, but for the sake of this lesson, most people don't have any. So when everything hit the fan, the Fed closes, right? And everything closes, you're going to have to go down to Satan, to Uncle Sam, to the so-called government. And you're going to take that. The scriptures say everyone but the elect is going to take it. So you're going to walk down there and you're going to take it because you ain't going to have no food or no water. Now, the Most High he's always left the Israelites a way out of every captivity. Before he brought us out of Egypt, remember, he hit them with plagues. There was no food, water, water turned to blood. He had some of the Israelites go down to Goshen. He's always made a way out. In every little captivity, he's always had a few of us stashed, right? Remember when a lot of the prophets were killed, 300 of us went to go hide, right? Up into the mountains, right? He's always made a way out, a certain safe haven, right? Because like the scriptures say in Isaiah chapter 33 and 6, right? Knowledge and wisdom shall be our stability of the times. He's going to put knowledge and wisdom on certain individuals in Israel and be like, hey, this is what you need to do. You're going to have to do the works, right? This is what you need to do so you can miss that. Because remember, the elect, we're going to be taken care of during these times. But I want to get to that. Revelation chapter 6, verse 6, right there. Because I've covered it before, right? It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, you hurt not the oil and the wine. The oil and the wine are the Israelites, right? This goes to Matthew chapter 25, right? The oil and the wine are the Israelites who are keeping the law with faith. That's what that means. Don't you hurt the oil and the wine. It's knowledge and wisdom, right? Matter of fact, let me get that for those who haven't read it, right? Right there. So when it start off in Matthew chapter 25, verse 1, it says, then shall, that's the Lord, Yahweh telling us like, look, this how the kingdom of heaven gonna be. After y'all go through them wars and that mark of the beast and all that, look, this how it's gonna be. This what's gonna happen, right? Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forward to meet the bridegroom, the Lord Yahweh. 5 of us were wise, 5 were foolish. The Most High consider you foolish if you ain't keeping the law. You can say, I'm saved, I got faith, I'm on a new covenant. Man, if you ain't got no works, ain't faith without works is dead. This is red letters. This is the Lord speaking himself, right? They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. We just read oil in Revelation chapter 6. Meaning you ain't got no knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the scriptures, you ain't keeping the law. You got a lamp, you a Hebrew, but you're not an Israelite because you ain't keeping the commandments, right? While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept, right now, present day. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, and ye go out to meet him. Meaning, all right, look, we going to see everything popping off, right? And Lord Yahweh going to be there. Then all those virgins, all them Israelites arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish, those who were not keeping the law, those who reject hearing us, those who still calling on white Jebus, and they know the letter J didn't get invented until 500 years ago, these are the foolish. The foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil. Now they're going to be like, tell me everything you know. What am I supposed to do on this day? What does this mean? They be blowing your phone up. When that first bomb, that first missile land on the continent of North America, then they're going to be blowing your phone up big time, right? Give us your oil for our lamps are going out, right? But the wise, so the Israelites who got the faith and the works, who got faith and keeping the law, like it's written in the book of James, but the wise answer saying, no, lest there not be enough for us and you, meaning I got my house to take care of. Y'all had 5, 10, 15 years of us pushing this truth and longer, obviously for elders and stuff, but you rejected it, right? But you go rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. You got to go through the same. You got to be tried as gold in the furnace and the fire, etc. Roughly paraphrasing, you got to go through the same thing we went through, right? I ain't gonna read all of that, but y'all see it. So my point is, when they crash these markets, they're gonna have mass layoffs, just like COVID. There was a test run. That's how they're gonna try to get everyone back to this, so-called crypto, right? Now, there's something I want to show y'all for those who have time. There's a movie that came out about 15 years ago. Was it 2010? About 15 years ago. It's called In Time. I-N, separate word, time. And it's with Justin Timberlake, and I forget whoever his name is, right? They was showing the mark of the beast in that whole movie. And they was showing, how people say time is money. So it was a subliminal message. You just had to pay attention. They were showing everybody, in order to work, eat, get food, coffee, drink, water, in order to buy and sell, as we just read, right? In order to buy and sell, Revelation 13 and 17, you had to have that mark on your hand. Matter of fact, let's get that. I think I should still have it saved. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of this, and I'm going to get to it. See that? There it is. In time. Right? You got to chew up the meat and spit out the bones. Everybody got the mark. Even the babies.
Allow me to introduce my mother-in-law, Clara, my wife, Michelle, and my daughter, Sylvia.
Life is paid out. Look.
Whoa. Where's the rest?
Never met the quota.
My units are up from last week.
So is the quota.
You have to scan your wrist to get money and get paid. But the rich, all them people had their crypto.
Just once, I'd like to wake up with more time on my hand than hours in the day.
Everyone has the mark.
How old are you? 28.
I'm 105. But the day comes when you've had enough. If you had as much time as I have, what would you do with it?
Sure as hell wouldn't waste it.
Now, I'm not going to play all that. But the point is that time is money. Now, there's going to be, for those who have the time to go watch it, there's going to be a little girl in that movie. She was one of a few who did not have the mark. That mark of time, that mark of the beast, right? You got to watch the movie to show it. That's what they're showing. She did not have the mark, but she had a separate device, right? Oh, and by the way, Justin Timberlake, this role was supposed to be played by, I believe, Will Smith. Just like The Matrix, Neo was supposed to be played by Will Smith. Meaning a black man, right? It's supposed to be played by a Hebrew man, right? My point to that is, during this whole time, the place where all them rich people live, they called them, I would say like, well, I don't want the platform to get dinged, but Amalek. They call him Amalek. I can say that. And where Justin Timberlake lived, keep in mind, he's supposed to be black, but everybody around him, they were black. And they was like, oh, you live in the ghetto. Get back down there to the ghetto. And everybody there only made like 25 cents a day with them working. But everybody else, like how these so-called elites and all them doing, you're going to see it. Y'all got to watch it. You have to watch it. My point is, it's subliminal. And it's going with what they're about to do now. And it happened in a snap of a finger. And it happened within like a few days. Everything shut down. America was at war. The Fed crashed. All of that. They're going to show everything. They're going to show the Federal Reserve buildings. Everyone, there's no more dollars. They're going to show all the dollars being burnt up. And you had to have this mark to get paid, to buy food, to travel. Like the scriptures say. There was a young girl in this movie, right? She did not have the mark. But she had a separate device that she stored her money, aka her time, on. And whenever she went to scan her hand, right? You had to scan your hand like you just saw Justin Timberlake do, right? He had to scan his hand. He had to scan it somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Right there. Right here. He had to scan his hand. That's all them are in line. That's how they work. And they all in uniform. He had to scan his hand to get his daily pay. She had a device in her hand. It was like a little USB where she would keep her hands closed and she would just reach that out and all her money would go onto that. My point to that is, earlier I said the Most High would always make a way for the Israelites to do this. Here's what I'm trying to round off and get to. I'm not telling people to go out and you need to get crypto, you need to do this. My job is to only warn because we can see it, right? Like the scriptures say, if we can see what's coming, we got to blow the trumpet. We got to blow it, right? Right there. Here, I highlight it. Right there. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Yasharal, unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them a warning from me. We can see this coming, right? If we can see their play coming, we got to warn y'all. So my point to that is the little device that girl had in her hand, that was this. That was this right here. And I'm not telling you to go buy this. Y'all see that? For those who know about crypto, if you will, they're going to seize your bank account. The war's going to intensify over here because the United States helped do that earthquake to hit Russia, by the way. So they're finna get bombed. Anyway, that right there, that little device, when everything goes digital, you could have that in your hand, right? It's called like a Trezor or something. I ain't saying go get this. I ain't a spokesperson for them. I'm just saying it's a device like that. Whatever you can do to store it hard, right? So this girl had that same device like balled up in her hand. Just like that. Like they just showed it. She had it in her hand. And when she would reach her hand out, she didn't open her palm and she would just scan it. Bing! Right? But most people don't have nothing like that. You're going to have to get that incision in your arm, in your hand or in your head. And most people, like the scriptures say, most people are going to get it. Most people are going to get it. Now, remember I stated earlier that, matter of fact, let me go back to that, right? So one night I was just up late, right? I'm up late, just, you know how the Most High, like mentioned in the book of Job, he gives us directions and stuff. I'm up late. I'm watching old school TV shows. I'm watching New York Undercover, Showtime at the Apollo, the original one, right? I'm watching all these old shows. I think I was even watching like Mama's Family and stuff like that came on back in the 70s and early 80s and stuff. And right after that, right? And it took me a while to find it. In Living Color came on. And they've been telling us, because it's in the scriptures. Remember I talked about the word Hoinix, right? And the denarius and the word crypto and ripple, what it goes back to. And in Living Color came on. Y'all remember Damon Wayans when you used to play that homeless man? I'm finna play the clip. They told us back in 89 what the play was, but we was all laughing. We was too busy laughing and joking. This is finna happen right now. Right? Right? See that? Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word of my mouth and give them a warning from me. This is your warning. Right? I've been telling people for years, slowly start to take your money out the banks. But yes, now you're going to need to put it somewhere. If you could see what they're doing, if you could see it coming, if you could see a lion running at you, or you going to just stand there? No, you need to have faith and works. People forget what Daniel was in the lion dens, etc., etc. Well, Daniel also prayed. He still had works. That's a work. That's an action in itself, because you're supposed to pray morning, noon, and eve. That's what the scriptures say, right? Here's what's important. Let me go ahead and get that. Here's why this is important. Salah. Watch. Right. Well, you see that right there, right? It talks about XRP. XRP is Ripple. Remember the guy said, the guy at the beginning, this guy was talking about that. Okay?
This shit is a game.
He said it needs to transfer to something.
Currency rails. What does that tell you? The US dollar is no longer the US dollar anymore.
Y'all can go back and watch this. But watch this though. Here it is right here. Pay attention.
100 shares of Ripple.
Look at this.
Said I want 100 shares of Ripple. I want 100 shares of Ripple. Yeah, I know it's going down, but believe me, I know my Ripple, it'll be coming up real soon.
See that? Ripple, that's the crypto that the dollar is going to. That's going to be the one world currency. This is going to be the one. It ain't Bitcoin, it ain't no. This is it. This is the one. Once you break it down even into the ancient tongue, this is what the Lord Yahweh Shah was speaking about. This is, you can watch what they're doing and you can clock it. You can clock it. This is the warning, right? They're going to have those layoffs, the war, and look, it's gonna be is what it is. If you're gonna have food, and you can have food stocked up, you can have water, you can have this, that ain't gonna matter. That's gonna run out. Cause how you gonna replenish? You won't even be able to get into the stores. You won't even be able to get into the stores. Go watch that movie In Time, right? Watch the Book of Eli, etc. Right? So my point ain't to promote no crypto, go buy this, go do that. No. I'm saying if we can see the sword coming, our job is to warn you. You do what you want to do with this information. That's what that means. Right? So with that, this message is really only for the elect. Those who understand will understand. Shalom.